what were you saying?
I don't know, I lost it. We were talking about how the union also does promote continuing education among teachers. Really, the union is one of the strongest proponents of excellence in teaching, and kind of push and shove and tug and put out expectations that you will be excellent. If you're not excellent, you're not really encouraged to hang around. You know, if this is not your gig, you need to find another one.
A number of years ago, Governor Thompson wanted to make it so that anybody who has military service and a college degree would be able to teach in the classroom.
Yeah.
No teaching experience, no teaching credential, just that you have military experience and a degree.
Wait, who said this?
Governor Thompson.
Oh, wow.
That was a while ago. And something, you know, they have a program made for military people to go into the classrooms, but what he wanted never went through. But it was the union that fought it.
Well, I have a question for you. When Earl spoke to me about the fact that you would have questions, and I was thinking about what they might be. I talked to a bunch of teachers today and had them email me on personal effects of Walker's budget and subsequent legislation, stuff that's been happening politically in Wisconsin. So I did have several teachers give me some very personal and very specific information in response to that. And there's actually, I'll show you, I have like pages of worthwhile information that I can email to you if that would be helpful.
Oh, that would be great.
Very helpful.
I'm not going to send any names or anything. I'll just send it under my email in a Word document, just for privacy's sake.
Okay.
But these are the responses that teachers today sent me in email, what their own personal challenges are in the kind of backwash of Walker's.
Wow, that would be excellent.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Okay, well, I have a question kind of regarding the bill more specifically.
Okay.
And so one part of the bill is that a lot of different government workers would be, their right to collectively bargain would be completely taken away, including the UW staff. And I was just wondering what you think, what could this mean for the state universities if the faculty wasn't allowed to negotiate at all?
It will mean the same thing that it means for teachers at every level. It will mean the deterioration of the education system. It will mean that excellent teachers, and we, even in a small district, we have a lot of really incredible thinkers, incredible teachers who could go into any other field and get a job making maybe twice, 3 times as much money, depending on where they went. And especially in higher education, you'll lose people, and when the best people go away, you're left kind of with the dregs, and those will be the people leading education in our country. So everything will deteriorate if that's allowed to happen long term. I mean, we may have to have a year or two of struggling to get legislation back in place to make the recall effective. But in terms of collective bargaining, if we let go what we already are losing and some people have lost, it will be disastrous, I think, in the long run. It's a ripple effect that will not show up maybe for 20 years when we go, holy cow, you know, Japan has this phenomenal education system in the United States. I mean, talk about standardized testing disasters. Everything will go downhill if that's allowed to happen, because the best people will go away.
And then also, another part of the bill is that union members would no longer be required to pay the dues in order to be part of the union. And I was just wondering, from your perspective, what could possibly happen with that law?
Okay. Yes, it's true that they're not going to have to pay the dues, although if they don't pay the dues, they won't necessarily be entitled to all of the rights that a union member would be. They don't have the right to be represented by the union. They have the right to participate in such things as, like if the wages are negotiated, that's the wage they're going to get. And the union must make sure that their due process rights are in effect. However, if lawyer time needs to be hired, it needs to be implemented, or Uniserv director time needs to be used, they don't have the right to access those resources. So yes, they have the right to do whatever a union member does, but they don't have the right to the resources. They don't have the insurance. As educators in the union, we have $1 million worth of insurance in case we screw up, or somebody says we screw up.
Yeah, if we're accused of something, the school district has insurance, but the school district has insurance for their interests. They cover the district. There's no guarantee that they will cover the teacher. So one of the advantages that we have now is this additional insurance to help us if we're accused of something, and that is to back the teacher, not the district, and not the interests of the district. So that's a big thing that we lose if we're not allowed to have a union or be a part of a union, and that's a big thing that people who might not choose to pay union dues, it's a big benefit that they would not have access to. So we'd have to cover somehow in their own life, get an umbrella policy. I mean, how do you get an umbrella policy of $1 million?
Okay. Yeah, in fact, you're encouraged, that's a sidelight, but you're encouraged as teachers to get an umbrella policy, because if you take kids on a skiing accident and one of them hit the tree, it's not your fault, but you may very well be sued.
And could lose your house. I mean, it's a personal lawsuit.
As far as not paying dues, at the state level and at the local level, the unions are political. There's no question about it. We don't necessarily adhere to Republican and Democrat, but we do adhere to the candidates that we feel are going to support educational issues. If that money isn't there, that's going to dry up a source for political funding in the next election. So right now, Scott Walker has unlimited funding practically from the Koch brothers, and their biggest opponent has been the unions, including WEAC. If that money dries up, then WEAC won't have the money to do that. I mean, we've sent down hundreds and hundreds of buses down to Madison to do the protesting.
And then if we
and
lose that...
A lobbyist, now they complain about high-paid union employees, but a lobbyist, a good lobbyist, if you've ever watched one in action, is just amazing. They're a computer on legs. They don't come cheap. They do. They just know their facts, and it's just unreal. And ours is John Stocks, right? If you ever want to meet a person who really knows their business, you meet a really good lobbyist. They're innocuous. Sometimes we have things that just piss me off. Excuse me. WEAC has the most expensive piece of property in all of Madison. And to my line of thinking, when I look at that on Nob Hill, the big union building, that just ticks me off, because that talks more of opulence than member driven or anything else. I think we should be in a nice little metal building out in the middle of Sun Prairie, right between Sun Prairie and Madison, on a piece of land, and not be so auspicious about things. Ostentatious. Sometimes they'll have things that really make me upset, as far as they'll have a conference and they'll go to Hawaii for it.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, oh, that's nonsense, or they'll have different conferences that just cost too much money. Why are they doing that?
Yeah.
But for the most part, you got to have a union. You got to have money to support a union. It's just necessary.
Yeah. Do you think there's any way that, even though, unions are good, obviously that's what you're saying, and then there's the bad parts of it, like they're spending too much money. Is there any way, do you think, that could prevent the unions from kind of spending things